Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Willful omitting of witness statements by police. I had forgotten. COI hears. Gunpoint robbery at GPL Monrepo office. Customers and staff tied up. 2 plane accidents in 2 weeks at Ittering Bang. GCCA launches investigation. And Rohi returns with fire. Whips government over security challenges in Guyana. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Thursday, August 10 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. The Guyana Civil Aviation Authority has launched an investigation into the 2 recent plane crashes at Ittering Bang in Region 8. Here is Rodin James with more.
Days after a Roraima Britain Norman Islander plane crashed and claimed the life of a pilot at Ittering Bang, a small Cessna aircraft owned by Wings Aviation crashed just as it was taken off from the airstrip. The pilot suffered minor injuries. Responding to questions by Nightly News at a press briefing on Thursday, Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, retired Lieutenant Colonel Egbert Field, said those incidents are being probed.
We have commenced those investigations, and they are at a preliminary stage, especially the accident earlier this week is at a preliminary stage at this time. Brief on those, we have secured the engines for the first accident that should be shipped out to the manufacturers, and all this is part of the investigation.
Asked whether the authority is concerned with the age of some of the small aircrafts, since some of them have been flying for over 30 years, he said that is not a primary concern, since some of the small planes have a much lengthier lifespan.
What the authority concerns itself about is the quality of maintenance for the aircraft. And that's the reason why we have inspectors who go out and undertake surveillance exercises, looking at the maintenance organizations, also ensuring that the individuals or the personnel within the organization are properly qualified.
Mr. Field says that the authority keeps a close eye on aircraft maintenance and that an aircraft has to acquire a certificate of airworthiness annually, along with other compulsory documentation.
We do not allow substitute parts on aircraft. We do not allow parts which were made by other persons other than the manufacturer to be. Only genuine parts are placed on the aircraft. And that is one of the items or part of our inspection, to ensure that as the parts are changed, you have genuine and new parts placed on the aircraft.
There are no preliminary findings as yet for the 2 recent accidents at Ittering Bang, but Mr. Field assured that the investigating team will be looking at all possible angles. Royden James, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. With the police now. The police want to believe that the same thieves who executed a daring robbery weeks ago are responsible for another gunpoint robbery at GPL Thursday afternoon. Here is more. This mall at Monrepo on the east coast of Demerara has been hit by yet another armed robbery. Thursday afternoon, customers paying their utility bills at this GPL outlet came face to face with 3 gunmen.
When I walk in, it's cramming me, and I pull back and I squeal, and it's cramming and pull me in.
Into the store?
Yeah, and said, don't holler, and put me for sit down.
When after he don't move, then pull the next guy in there at the front, who in cash. So when them pull he, well, them bend here and then take the gun and hit here his head.
This photograph shows the security guard as he's tied up. His weapon was taken away by the gunmen. One eyewitness, who prefers his identity withheld, said that the men fired a single shot in his direction while they escaped in a waiting alien motorcar.
One with a pink kerchief that you face, and one with a mask. And as you step down, I remove the mask and I see the two of them. But then when I start to see them, then I fire 2 shots in the ears. Then I shy one down there for me. And when my cousin, we duck and we run.
Credible sources have all said that the gunmen didn't get much as they smashed this glass open, but some customers and staff had their personal items taken away.
As I opened the door, I saw a guy on the counter on the ground. So I reached to give him assistance. I thought he had fallen. Next thing you know, a guy pulled me in, called me in, tell me come and sit down. I saw 2 guns, 3 men. So they strapped my hands, they told me to lay down on my face. As I lay down on my face, about 3 to 5 minutes later, I heard them making a commotion that somebody outside noticed them what's going on. And there is an alarm, and that's when they run out.
Police were hoping to retrieve CCTV footage from these cameras, but as it turns out, they are not functional. Several customers were turned away as the Monreport branch remained closed for the day as investigators from GPL and the police do their work. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. A review of the justice system in hinterland communities suggests gaping loopholes to be plugged. Reportedly, several communities are adversely affected by a delayed justice system and an acute shortage of police officers. Kristen Macklingam reports.
There is a delayed justice system in the interior and remote locations throughout Guyana, especially in areas where a court sits quarterly. According to Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Lowe, this needs to be addressed immediately.
Yes, they have a delayed justice system, but then again, that's all over the country, and we have to, as a government, we are looking into that and working to make it better, to serve the people, give justice then to Guyanese.
Minister Garrido-Lowe stated that while there is a backlog of cases at courts in other parts of the country, another challenge is that there is an acute shortage of police officers to serve these communities.
Right now, too, we have a shortage of police officers. We are at least about 1,000. So I've been working to ensure that indigenous youths apply and be trained to be police officers so that they can go back in their communities.
According to Minister Garrido-Lowe, it would be ideal to have locals in the riverine and remote communities serve as police officers in their villages or districts, but some persons may encounter difficulties.
In some cases, it has not been effective because they can't lock up their own friend and so it's best they go to another village and somebody else go to their village.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Former PPP General Secretary Clement Rohi makes a fiery comeback as he belted the government over security challenges facing the nation. Rodin James has the details in this report.
Mr. Rohi roasted the coalition government over its strategies to deal with security concerns in Guyana. He co-hosted his party's press briefing on Wednesday after a prolonged interval. Mr. Rohi recalled that while in opposition, the coalition had made a song and dance about the security situation in the country at that time and the need for corrective action, which the coalition had said it had been capable of addressing.
But as the months and years went by, we found that, notwithstanding the claim that they had a host of security experts ensconced at the Ministry of the Presidency and other places, that they were unable to address the crime and public safety and security situation.
Rohi said the PPP never claimed to have all the answers related to crime and the security. He stressed that at the rate the coalition had been promoting its capabilities with regard to the security situation in Guyana, one would have felt that the country would have been without security troubles when the Granger administration took over.
Having arrived in government following the elections in 2015, the Granger administration found itself saddled with a whole host of challenges which they claim they had the solutions to solve it.
Mr. Rohi also chided the government for what he termed a back and forth to have the UK security sector reform plan implemented. It was this same Mr. Rohi who turned down this very UK security plan while a minister in both President Jagdeo and President Ramotar's administration.
We were given the royal runaround about where this plan was. At one time it was with Mr. Ramjatan. Another time it was with the Commissioner of Police. Another time it was back at the office of the President. And so it was going round and round until at some point in time we were told that it was going to be laid in the National Assembly, which never happened.
Rohi said the PPP is also not too happy with recent developments in which the President requested that all police promotions be put on hold. He said too that he suspects that this move was driven by the direction the ongoing Commission of Inquiry into the alleged plot to kill the President is going. He contends that the government has its own plans. Royden James, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. An important statement by a witness was handed over to a senior policeman at CID. Perhaps the reason for its willful delay in reaching the Commission of Inquiry probing that alleged plot to assassinate the President. Here's more. Policeman Laundry was grilled by the Commission's attorney James Bond to explain his reasons for omitting from his evidence-in-chief that he had taken a statement from Luana Diva Walker. That statement sought to discredit the accuser's story. This was Laundry's response.
Do you know that the police legal advisor had recommended or suggested all along that all statements, and senior police personnel, that all statements taken by the police must be handed over to the Commission? Are you aware of those instructions? You may not have gotten it from the PLA, but you got it from senior police officers, even senior than yourselves, and all statements with relation to this investigation should be forwarded to the Commission. You're not aware? No.
Keep in mind that Policeman Laundry had taken that statement from Diva on the 19th of August, and by the 21st, when he appeared before the Commission, he had already forgotten about that statement. The Commission heard that the statement was under lock and key by Major Crimes Unit Head Mitchell Caesar.
When you took this statement, where was it kept?
I handed it over to Assistant Superintendent Caesar.
What date would that have been?
Same date, sir.
The same 19th?
Yes.
Could you tell us how you came to be in contact with Miss Luana Walker?
I was on duty at CID Quarters in Canary. The woman was there. She spoke to Mrs. Caesar. Mrs. Caesar called me, told me to interview her and take a statement from her.
But Attorney Bond made a strange observation with all the statements Policeman Laundry had taken in the matter.
Do you agree with me that the statements that you took, they all discredited Mr. Andrew Gillard in one way or another? All the statements that you took, they discredited they brought his credibility into issue. Do you recall that, sir?
Yes.
That's the only persons you took statements from. Persons who tend to discredit Mr. Gillard. Did you find it strange that you were being asked to take statements from only those persons?
No, sir.
The Commission's findings will be handed over to President Granger by August 18. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Still with the COI, and you'll hear that there is no need for Minister Ramjatan to testify before the current COI. Commissioner Slow reasons for disallowing the request in this report.
Well, I want to say that that is absolutely untrue. There's absolutely no information like that. And that could constitute public mischief.
That was the comment by Public Security Minister Kemrad Ramjatan on April 21, 2017, regarding that alleged plot to assassinate the President. Attorney Christopher Ram, representing businessman Imran Khan, had requested that Minister Ramjatan be brought before the Commission. Commissioner Slow on Wednesday denied that application. He explains.
I indicated to him then that I would go through the terms of reference and the evidence before the Commission and make a decision. I have gone through the terms of reference from 1 to 8. I have reviewed the evidence given by all the witnesses, and I see no need to call the Minister before the Commission to give any statement. So
Ram had told the Commission that he was willing to provide reasons for Minister Ramjatan to testify and requested that those reasons be discussed in a closed-door session. Those discussions were had in camera. In fact, Friday, August 11 is the last public hearing for the inquiry.
Friday, when we have Andrew Gillard in the morning and Mr. David Ramrine in the afternoon, that will be the end of the public aspect of the Commission. We then continue our work in preparing the report for submission to His Excellency. Of course, unless something dramatic happens and some witness turns up, because you recognize they have been turning up. Somebody might turn up with some very important bit of information that we might deem necessary to have it given on the oath in public or in camera.
Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. The increased revenues Guyana is expected to receive from the oil and gas industry should pave the way for the elevation of the agriculture sector and propel the country's overall development. Kristen Macklingam reports.
Monies raked in from the oil and gas industry here in Guyana, once utilized by the government in the agricultural sector, will boost the spending power of consumers. The revenues can even help save Guyana's flailing sugar industry, says President of the West Indies Agricultural Economics Conference 2017, Dr. Carlyle Pemberton.
Dr. Pemberton, can you tell me what you think the impact on oil and gas in the agriculture sector in a developing country like Guyana would be like?
Well, we do have the impact of oil and gas in Trinidad and Tobago, and in fact in Belize, where they found a little bit of oil, not very much, and it soon became the major export commodity even in Belize. But the likely impact would be to draw resources out of the economy.
Dr. Carlyle Pemberton during an exclusive interview with Nightly News on Thursday. Dr. Pemberton, who hails from Trinidad and Tobago, a country which was once known to have the largest oil and gas reserves in the Caribbean, explained that the impact of increased government revenues could be quite substantial, but it is up to the government to decide how much it will spend on supporting employment schemes or other sectors of the economy to the detriment of agriculture.
I can't see it having too much an impact on the rice industry. The sugar industry, of course, everybody has been talking about. And the state-owned nature of that industry and maybe the lack of profitability in the current situation with a loss of preferential markets and so on. If the government gets increased revenues from oil, then it may be the incentive or the impetus for the government to afford to have more investment in the sugar industry.
According to Dr. Pemberton, the other areas of agriculture in Guyana stands to benefit tremendously from the oil and gas revenues, and this would go a far way in ensuring that Guyana, a country predominantly known for agriculture, develops at a faster pace.
In terms of the rest of the agricultural sector, oil and gas will certainly allow higher consumer incomes. One expects that the gross domestic product per capita would increase. All consumers would have more money.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. To better battle various types of cancer in Guyana, PAHO WHO has lent its support to a local doctor. Here is Anna George with more.
This is Dr. Latoya Goodin, who's attached to the Oncology department at the Georgetown Public Hospital. She will be pursuing a master's in oncology in Brazil, compliments of the Pan-American Health Organization, World Health Organization. Country representative of PAHO WHO, Dr. William Adu-Crow, expressed his elation at this development through which specialist treatment of cancer will increase in Guyana.
The Organization of American States, the OAS, normally every year sends out a competitive scholarship process. Once we got wind of that, I sent it to the ministry to be shared with all staff. And Dr. Latoya Godin got hold of that, applied. It is a competitive process for the whole of the Americas, Latin America and the Caribbean. So she applied and got accepted.
PAHO Country Representative Dr. Adu Crow. He stated that PAHO WHO is committed to see Guyanese medical doctors serve their own people and get the opportunity they need to specialize.
What we decided to do was, because we facilitated the process, we thought it was only wise for us to help a little bit. And this is how I proceeded. First, to impress upon the Ministry of Public Health to make sure that at least her salary is paid, so that with her salary she can take care of her family as well as take care of herself whilst in Brazil. And then what we as PAHO WHO was going to do was then to pay for her air travel back and forth.
Dr. Adukro went on to say that Guyana will benefit greatly when investments are made in Guyanese doctors who are committed and willing to give back to society. Here's Dr. Latoya Godin, who received her initial medical training in Cuba and returned home in 2013. She explains more about the master's scholarship.
I found out about this program through the Ministry of Health, and when I applied, I must say it was very competitive. But happily for me, I'm the only Guyanese that got through to the program. It's 2 years in Brazil. I'm going to the University Federal do Pará. All studies are in Portuguese.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
Thank you, Ayana. For the first time since its establishment, the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority has undertaken a study to assess the impact of aviation in Guyana. The findings of that study have prompted the authority to up its game. Rodin James reports.
The report revealed that while the economic impact of the aviation sector in Guyana is substantial, it is mostly understated. The sector generates approximately $20.7 billion in annual economic activity. The study also reveals that the aviation industry supports approximately 12,000 jobs. Here is Director of the Aviation Transport Management, Mr. Sahid Suleiman.
Practically in Guyana, all foreigners come by air. They travel by air. Substantial amount of the tourists to Guyana, they travel by air. Some estimated 80% or in excess of 80% of the tourists or travelers, they come to Guyana by air. Every foreigner, of course, they spend money. They spend money in the economy, and this was captured in the study as part of the 3.2% impact on GDP that was presented by the Director General earlier.
The report further stated that international air transport generates roughly $1.7 billion in travel tax for the government.
Beyond the operational and tourism impacts, aviation plays an indispensable role connecting Guyana, both internally, within regions, and to the global economy. We cannot emphasize how important this connectivity is, for without air transport or air link, we would not be able to connect with the rest of the world. And domestically, without air transportation, a great part of the Hinterland region will not be connected to coastline.
Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, retired Lieutenant Colonel Egbert Field, pointed out that the report of the study has been both insightful and encouraging, and that the GCCA has started the process of positioning itself into a robust oversight authority.
The expansion of the Temeri International Airport, the extension of the runway, the imminent oil gas industry, and also the expansion of our domestic aviation sector. The Civil Aviation Authority, looking at all these things and the challenges which lies ahead, realize that the economy of Guyana is on an exploding path.
The study was conducted by Oxford Economics Limited of the United Kingdom at a cost of 50,000 United States dollars. Roy Den James, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. The second cycle of the Hinterland Employment Youth Service Program has started, and 100 indigenous villages are benefiting from this initiative for the next year. Kristen Macklingham has more.
The first cycle of the Hinterland Employment Youth Service HAZE program, which targeted capacity building in interior locations, has reaped rewards of success, and now the second cycle has commenced with 100 villages in this round. That's according to Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Lowe.
Minister, can you give me an update on the HEYS program that you have ongoing throughout the country?
I think it's great excitement. These villages have been waiting for 1 year until the first cycle has finished so that their own could roll off. So they're very happy. And what we have seen from the previous cycle, that, results that made us feel very good that this program is doing good for the youth of the hinterland, indigenous youth, giving them hope and allowing them to explore new ideas.
Minister Garrido-Lowe explained that with the grant that the participants from the first cycle of the HAZE program received, along with their stipend, many of them saved monies to start their own small businesses.
They managed to have poultry businesses, 2 acres farming, some built their own shop, grocery shop, and stock it, all these things.
The Junior Indigenous Peoples Affairs Minister added that the support of parents has been overwhelming and that previous beneficiaries of the HAZE program are now in a better place because of the help from their families.
So you have parents who are supporting their youths, and this is a wonderful thing. I mean, we ask the youths to go into small businesses to uplift your life and all those things through this program. But, the parents' support is an added complement to the program.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingham.
3 lucky customers were winners in the Shell Gas Save 4-year grand promotion. Here's Ayana George with more.
The 8-week promotion, which came to an end on Wednesday, gave customers the opportunity to live debt-free for 1 year by spending just $3,000 at any Shell gas station.
Today is the best day for winners. Today is the grand prize draw. And today is the day we get an opportunity to sift through 500,000 entrants to figure out 3 people that we're going to make absolutely happy.
These are the prizes won by the 3 lucky customers.
We're going to start from the third prize winner. That person will get themselves 1 year of free fuel saved, 1 entire year.
The Shell Fuel Save offers customers quality fuel at the lowest prices on the market.
Good product. Then we have the second prize. That person is going to win their car payment paid for the entire year.
Random persons were selected to draw the 3 names from the rotisserie. Liz Wire noted that Shell will continue to serve Guyanese at affordable cost.
Excitement that we're creating and all the changes that are happening at Seoul and Shell. We're really, really pleased that we had this many entrants. I'm absolutely blown away by the incredible energy that I've seen throughout all of the teams.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
Good evening, I am Colin Abrams with the HGP Sportscast. Barbados dents Guyana's Lady Jags World Cup qualifying hopes with a massive 5-1 victory in their third Group D game at Lenora last night. Calvin Chapman has more.
The scoreline didn't reflect the level of competitiveness of the match, in which the Lady Jags drew first blood through defender Tiandi Smith. In the 8th minute, Smith sailed a perfect free kick past Barbados goalkeeper Shanti Brooms from about 24 yards out.
Wonderful will take the free kick and straight to goal, and goal for Guyana through the hands of the keeper.
Barbados' Caitlin Padmore then quelled the Guyanese ovations when her shot got past Guyana's goalkeeper Vicky Joannis in the 16th minute.
Here they are again, and a strike, and
from that moment it was all downhill for Guyana. In the 20th minute, the Lady Jags were unlucky to concede an own goal through their initial goal scorer, defender Tiandi Smith.
The ball sailed in nicely, Padmore, and the defender there
The remaining of the first half of the match went back and forth with numerous attacking moves from both teams, with Barbados enjoying slightly more possession for the remaining 25 minutes and a half, which finished 2-1. During the second half, the Bajans bombarded the Lady Jags' goal with many long shots and found success 4 minutes into the period when her captain, Tia Briggs-Thompson, scored the first of her 2 long shot goals for a 3-1 lead. Within seconds, Barbados snuffed out any scent of a comeback by the Lady Jags with another goal. This time, Tiana Seeley got on the score sheet, despite the Jags' fighting spirit being alive. When the Barbados skipper, Tia Briggs-Thompson, scored a powerful shot from half-pitch, the Guyanese girls were definitely wounded in the 71st minute as the score reached 5-1. During the post-match press brief, the Lady Jags head coach, Aquila Costello, explained the game plan in the first half.
The first half, they did attack. The idea was to capitalize going with the breeze, but we didn't go on target with most of the attack. I guess for the second half, they were basically too anxious to attack, and in most cases, the play got broken down before it reached the final third.
Despite the heavy defeat, Costello expressed some pleasure with the girls.
We looking at it as a form of development for these girls, right? Being that they had to learn to play, they had to learn shape, they had to learn to play in a certain system and all these things in a very short space of time, and they came out and they did try their best to execute.
The Lady Jags' next game will be against the mighty Cubans this Sunday.
Thank you, Calvin. More football news. The Ghana male under-15 football team will complete its 3-match preparation for the CONCACAF Under-15 Football Championship in Florida from Sunday, August 13 to 19, with their final practice match against Fatima College tomorrow in Port of Spain, after losing 6-2 to Naparima College at the Manny Ramjohn Stadium in Maribel, South Trinidad yesterday. The Guyanese youth, who drew 1-1 with North Zone in their opening game on Monday, are in Group F of the CONCACAF tournament along with St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia and Suriname, and are being hosted by the Northern Football Association. But the Guyanese under-15s, although being dominated, should be using this experience as exposure against older and better teams, as ideal preparation for their trip to America, as the clinical passing and ball control continued from the most consistent football school side in Trinidad. In basketball, Eagles and Bounty Colts win at Burnham Court as the Georgetown Basketball Association Bank Zayed-sponsored league resumed last night after a 1-week hiatus. More on this from Calvin Chapman.
Play continued in the Georgetown Amateur Basketball Association's Banks DIH First, Second, and Under-23 Division Leagues tournament after a 1-week hiatus at the Burnham Court with 2 matches on Wednesday night. In the first match, Bounty Colts defeated Cobras 74-47. Defending champs Colts were not hindered by the league's brief recess and picked up where they left off to remain at the top of the Under-23 division. Timothy Thompson was the best player for the Colts with a massive 21 points in the hard-court encounter. Thompson was ably supported by Jafar Gibbons, who scored 13 points inclusive of 1 3-pointer. In the second match on Wednesday night, 2015 Second Division champions Eagles continued their good effort to retain the title with an edgy 72-69 victory over University of Guyana Trojans. The lead was between both sides throughout the match, but Eagles showed more grit near the end and came out on top. The break bode well for the Eagles' captain Belgrave, who buried a game-high 26 points that included 1 3-pointer as the national youth and senior player led from the front. Shamar Huntley continued to impress with his consistency with a valued 15 points in the Eagles' win. The tournament continues tomorrow night at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall with 2 matches.
We tell you now in horse racing, the Ghana Cup excitement is set for this Sunday at the Rising Sun Turf Club, Port Morant.
The Ghana Cup horse race meet is set to pay out over $14 million in cash and prizes when the event runs off this Sunday at the Rising Sun Turf Club, Port Morant, with the most exciting race of the day being the B-Class and lower 1600 meters race, having a cash payout of $2.5 million, and the E3 and lower 1100 meters race with a cash payout of over $2 million. Horses set to compete on Sunday in the featured race are Princess She Is Not, Lady Budapest, Jack in My Style, Vera's Finally, It's My Choice, Brave Style, Just Call Me Boss, Setting Star, Golden Blue Echo, and Climate Change. The meet is set to begin at 11:30 a.m. The event was organized and sponsored by Jumbo Jet Auto Sales and Banks DIH.
And that is it for sports this evening. Back to you, Travis.
Willful omitting of witness statements by police. I had forgotten. COI hears. Gunpoint robbery at GPL Monrepo office. Customers and staff tied up. 2 plane accidents in 2 weeks at Ittering Bank. GCCA launches investigation. And Rohi returns with fire. Whips government over security challenges in Guyana. Those were our major headlines. For these stories and more, you can go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.